Hey guys, Dom here and welcome back to The Outer Worlds. Now, with this game being out for almost 2 weeks, I have dove headfirst into this amazing sci-fi epic with over 25 enriching hours of experience with this brand new adventure, and yet I am nowhere near close to finishing this game. It's easy to say that The Outer Worlds is a game after my own heart. But with that being said, in today's video I want to list a few things that I believe Obsidian could have improved The Outer Worlds, or how Obsidian could enhance the experience for the future. Now again, I'd just like to state that this isn't me hating or complaining about the game, but there are definitely a few little gripes I have that I believe could be improved upon. Just a few little fixes here and there that could either be included for this title or their next. So starting off, we cannot make this video without talking about probably one of the community's biggest requests for this game since its early announcement, and that is the option for a third-person perspective. Now, while I know this was addressed by Obsidian as soon as the game was revealed, and I understand that it would have taken more time and budget to create both experiences for this game, seeing as we do have to remember that this game was developed and funded before Obsidian were acquired by Microsoft. So they didn't have the budget of, let's say, a AAA modern release. But wait a minute, just as a side note, look at what they've accomplished with the tools they have. As I said in previous videos, this RPG adventure has beaten some of the best in the industry, and to me is the best RPG experience I've played since hell, Fallout 4, or to be honest, even Skyrim. It just goes to show that budget isn't everything. It's the amount of heart and Obsidian listening to the community on what the community have wanted and have missed from modern RPGs. Anyway, getting back on track, Obsidian definitely should have added, if possible, a third-person perspective. Definitely in a game like this, it would have been truly welcomed, where this game is heavily based around you and who you have become within these worlds. And a big part of that choice comes down to what type of build you want to roleplay as. So for me, being able to see your armor, your weaponry choices, the kind of build you want to roleplay as, all in action really solidifies who you are becoming within this game, or just simply immerses you more within these giant open spaces. For example, let's say if I'm playing Fallout and I'm out exploring or getting some combat footage for videos, I personally like to be in third person, as I can see all the action as it unfolds. You kind of see your character and it solidifies you more within the moment. But if I'm out exploring a building or looking for some kind of unique item, I like to be in first person, as I can concentrate on the task at hand. Although I wouldn't wonder too much on what could have been, as it seems that whatever Obsidian is working on next will include both a first/third person perspective. So here's hoping that this feature comes to another Outer Worlds title. Or if we're really lucky, that it comes to this title with an update or something, but I doubt that. Up next, we get another little gripe that I'm hoping Obsidian can solve in the future, and that is the UI/the game's menu within The Outer Worlds. Now, when you first dive into this game, you'll be welcomed by an abundance of items, weapons, and armor pieces, all within the opening locations of The Outer Worlds. Now, of course, you have to do a bit of your own homework here to discover how each little item works within the game and what benefits it has to you or your specific build. And it's here where my frustration begins. As you can see, whilst you're trying to look through the menus for, let's say, a specific item or weapon, While scrolling through the menus, a giant description box detailing each item blocks the entire menu screen, making it a bit of a grind just to look up any item within the game. Again, this is just a little thing that could be fixed in a future update, or perhaps Obsidian could give us the option to either customize these menus, or for Obsidian to give us a UI setting for us to turn this off. But that's not all I would have Obsidian look at regarding these menus, as the swapping of weapons within this game can be a bit clunky and hard to navigate. As within the Outer Worlds, you can hotkey up to 4 weapons for you to switch out within combat. But let's say you wanted to switch out a weapon or replace it for a brand new one you have found throughout the world. You can't just find the weapon within the menu and then just switch it automatically for a hotkeyed item. It's a bit more clunky than that. You have to click on one of the 4 hotkeyed weapons, creating a space, and then you have to go through the previously mentioned awkward menu to locate said weapon and then hotkey that weapon. Again, not a massive complaint, but perhaps something Obsidian could take a look at either within the future of this title or their next. Now, moving along, I wanted to touch on something I think would have improved the experience of the Outer Worlds immensely. And that would be the inclusion of an in-game radio. Now, while I understand that Obsidian would have had to have gone through permissions and licensing to use certain songs, much like what Bethesda go through using licensed tracks for Fallout, and this probably again at the time wouldn't have been in the budget creating the Outer Worlds, but I cannot deny that an in-game radio would have fit right in with this game, and probably would have relieved some of the awkwardness of some locations, as some of the atmospheric music within this game, while composed amazingly, and I honestly have listened to the official soundtrack over and over again, it can most often than not be a bit repetitive, as the music does tend to loop in certain areas, adding to the fact that conversations between random NPCs don't really take place, unless you are around to trigger a one-line phrase or a related conversation. And I just feel that a radio with a few licensed tracks in the background could have taken away some of that emptiness at times. Which now leads me to a much more serious gripe I had with the game. And that is locked areas / worlds within the Outer Worlds. Now again, while I have not completed this game, I have discovered that a number of planets / locations within the game's map are officially locked off. So as you can see within the game's map, we know that a number of planets, including Enderos and Typhoon, are not yet available to access or explore. Now, while this is more than likely a pinpoint for Obsidian's future DLC plans for the Outer Worlds, which actually could be pretty cool, seeing as there is multiple planets and locations for us to explore, which in my eyes means we could be seeing a lot more in the ways of story-based DLC, much like Fallout New Vegas's Dead Money or Old World Blues, etc, etc. Although I have to admit, I was a bit bummed when I first heard that you couldn't reach every location on the map, as I expected to dive into every location and area within the Outer Worlds from release. So here's hoping that I am right, that Obsidian do plan on releasing much more story-based DLC to reveal each and every world to us within this game's future. Now, my final improvement for the Outer Worlds is a much more future-based enhancement, and that is, of course, player-based mod support. Now, it goes without saying that Bethesda's modding community is one of the biggest and best in the world, with people modding games that harken back to Morrowind, to Fallout 4, games that are constantly being replayed and reworked, breathing new life into these older titles, and it's all thanks to the modding community. So I can only dream of what the modding community could do for the Outer Worlds. And with lead director of the Outer Worlds, Leonard Boyosky, stating that mods are definitely something Obsidian are working on including into this brand new IP. So we may not have to dream of what could be forever. So there we have it. That was a few ways I believe Obsidian could improve upon the Outer Worlds. Again, this wasn't me in any way saying that I disliked the Outer Worlds or was me slamming the game, as the Outer Worlds is my new love. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with some of the choices, or do you have some of your own? Let me know in the comments down below. Best ones get featured in the credits of these videos. Also, gain some good karma and consider supporting the channel on Patreon. And if you liked this video, hit that on that like and subscribe button. And as always, it's not just a show, it's just I'm so